Alright, done talking about the prequel trilogy, so now it's time to talk about the good trilogy, the original trilogy. And I'm going to start with the one that started it all, Star Wars. And no, I am not going to call it Episode 4 A New Hope, because that's not what it was called back in 1977 when it first came out. Star Wars. That's what it was called. And I will get to Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, so just wait for those. And yes, this review will contain spoilers, so you have been warned. Okay, so Star Wars is an iconic classic in the sci-fi genre and films in general, and it's right next to Citizen Kane, The Wizard of Oz, Casablanca, and and The Godfather as being one of the greatest achievements in American cinema. And I love the original Star Wars movies, and it's really the original left a huge impact on my life. And I remember watching it the first time, and I was blown away by it. The special effects were phenomenal. The acting's great. The story is awesome. It just everything about it's perfect, and the soundtrack is phenomenal. Like I think it's considered to be by many the greatest soundtrack in cinema history. And to be fair, it is. And um, okay, so Star Wars starts out on Tatooine. It's kind of a crappy little planet, but there we meet C-3PO, Knuckles, and R2-D2, and we know nothing about them. They're droids, and they come from the stolen rebel ship that's actually at the beginning of the film, where Princess Leia puts the little CD in R2-D2's little droid body, which contains uh, instructions about how to blow up the Death Star. We will get to that later, and also we meet Darth Vader, who comes out of the shadows with smoke coming out, and Darth Vader is probably one of the greatest villains in cinema history. And right where he first appeared, you're like, yep, that's the most evil, menacing guy in the galaxy right there. And and later in the film, C-3PO and R2-D2 are being sold by these Jawas, and there we meet Luke Skywalker, who lives with his aunt and uncle, and whose names are Uncle Owen and Aunt. I forgot the aunt's name. Sorry. And oh yeah, and Luke is tired of being a farm boy, so he wants to go out and be what everyone else is doing, like all his friends, fight the Empire and be one of the rebels. And one of the most famous scenes in cinema history was when that scene where he's walking out of his house, and he rests his leg and on this stone, I think. I'm not sure. And the Tatooine sunset is right there, and probably the most iconic piece in the entire movie is the binary sunset. It's wah 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 wah. That's how it goes. It's a really cool scene, and Ben Kenobi meets Amaso or Obi-Wan, and so he gives Luke his father's lightsaber, and so R2 goes missing, and Luke, 3PO, and Ben go out to find him, and they find him. They get knocked out by sand people, but actually that comes before Ben shows up. But yeah. Anyway, and one of the most darkest scenes in the entire movie, the scene that scarred me for life, was when Luke came home to see his aunt and uncle, and then his house is like blown out. There's smoke coming out. You can see their skeletons, and yes, you can see their skeletons in the house, like outside, and for kids. And actually, here's a fact. Star Wars was originally gonna get a G rating, but because of that scene, it got a PG rating instead. And and that feeling Luke has when he sees his aunt and uncle dead, it's just so sad, and you can feel his anger. And And so Luke, 3PO, and R2 and Ben go to the space cantina where they meet Han and Chewbacca. And Han Solo is probably my favorite character in all of Star Wars. And it wasn't until George Lucas re-released it in 1997 where he replaces all the shots with crappy CGI. Like he he puts out the scene where Han meets Jabba, and it's some of the crappiest CGI ever. And the worst scenes of all, though, moment of silence, it's when Han and Greedo are talking, and Greedo shoots first. It's it's bullcrap. Han shot first in the original movie. Greedo never shot first, and it's so frustrating. And okay, so Han, Chewie, and all the other guys. I don't want to say their name because it takes too long. And so they go to the Death Star to rescue Leia. They do, but Ben meets Vader again, and Vader slices Ben with his lightsaber, and so they go out to another planet, which is I forgot the planet. Is it Naboo? Or did Naboo get blown up? I don't know. Okay, so they go to the planet to blow up the Death Star, the plans, and so Luke is now one of the rebel pilots. So he he decides to join them, of course, and like so Luke and the other rebel pilots go out to blow up the Death Star. The plan may seem bullcrap and unrealistic, but it's a pretty cool plan. So yeah, they all die. Vader goes out to kill Luke, who's probably like the 3% to survive, and as Vader's about to kill Luke, Han says, I mean, Ben, sorry. Ben says, Luke, use the Force, like in his head. And so Luke uses the Force. He presses the buttons on his controllers, and the missiles hit the Death Star and blows up. And Han crashes into Vader's uh, starfighter plane. They both survive, don't worry. But Vader spins around into space, and he gets lost in space. And so they all celebrate, yeah, at the end. And okay, guys, so yeah, it's a cool scene actually. Yeah. Anyway, okay, yeah. So that was my review for Star Wars, and Star Wars is an all-around classic. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. But Empire Strikes Back, however, that takes the franchise to the next level, and I'll talk about it tomorrow. Okay, so here's the final verdict. Star Wars is one of my all-time favorite movies, and it's right next to The Wizard of Oz, Casablanca, Citizen Kane, and The Godfather as being an all-around classic. So Star Wars gets an A plus. All right, guys. So that was my review for Star Wars. So I have a question for you. What's your favorite Star Wars movie in the original trilogy? Whatever it is, comment below and let me know. Mine is Empire Strikes Back, of course. And all right, guys. So see you tomorrow in my Empire Strikes Back review. Bye.